Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do the third variant for paper 2 Olevel Maths Major 325. I've already solved the second variant for paper 2 and the second and third variant for paper 1. You can check it at the link. You can check those at the link above. Let's start with this one and see whether this was easy or difficult overall. So it says, right, 4.235 it corrected 2 decimal places. So 2 is your first decimal place, 3 is your second decimal place. We start counting the decimal places from left to right. So now we round the second decimal place based on what the number is in the third decimal place. Third decimal place has number 5. Whenever the number is 5 and above, you round the number up. If it's less than 5, you round it down. Since it's 5, so 4.23 becomes 4.24. We round 3 up to 4. Then write 34,159 corrected 2 significant figures. So that's going to be 34,000. In significant figures, leading zeros are not considered as significant digits. So that's why 3 and 4 are the first two significant figures, and the 3 zeros after them are not significant. If the 0 was between 3 and 4, then it would be considered as a significant number. But if it's at the end, it's not significant. The rectangle has dimensions 2.4 centimeters by 5.6 centimeters. The rectangle is enlarged by a scale factor of 3.25. We have to work out the dimensions of the enlarged rectangle. So if the scale factor is 3.25 for the length, we will multiply 2.4 by the scale factor. And then for the width, we will multiply 5.6 by the scale factor. Whenever you're trying to find the enlarged dimensions of any given shape, you multiply the original length by the given scale factor. So that's going to give us 7.8 centimeters for the length and 18.2 centimeters for the width. These are the dimensions of the enlarged rectangle. Then Ang and Bo share $104 in the ratio 7:6. Calculate the amount they each receive. So for Ang, that's going to be 7 out of 13 times 104. And for Bo, it's going to be 6 out of 13 times 104. First step is to create the fraction from the given ratio. The denominator is always sum of the values in the ratio, and numerator is the number assigned to the specific person. So for Ang, it was 7. So 7 divided by 13, and for Bo, it was 6 out of 13. Once we have the fractions, we multiply it by the given amount that is being shared among the mentioned people so that you can find their respective shares. So for Ang, it's going to be $56, and for Bo, it's going to be $48. That's your answer. Then shade one small square so the diagram has rotation symmetry of order 2. So we have to shade one small square, so that's going to be this one. This way it will have a rotation symmetry of order 2 because when you move it, it will gain its original shape 2 times. Then shade one small square so the diagram has one line of symmetry. So to have one line of symmetry, we will shade this one over here. This way your line of symmetry will be this horizontal line. Then it says, write 6,300 centimeters in meters. So if 1 meter is 100 centimeters, 1 centimeter is going to be 1/100th of a meter. So we have to convert 6,300 centimeters into meters. So 6,300 divided by 100, and that's 63 meters. That's your answer. Then write 450 centimeter cube in liters. 1 liter is equal to 1,000 centimeter cube. So 1 centimeter cube will be 1/1,000 liters. Same thing as the previous one. So if we're converting 450 centimeter cube into liters, we divide 450 by 1,000, and that's 0.45 liters. That's your answer. Then simplify 5a plus 3b plus 2a minus 7b. So basic algebra. We're going to collect the like terms. 5a plus 2a and then 3b minus 7b. So that's going to give us 7a plus 5 plus 2 is 7 and 3b minus 4 and 3b minus 7b is negative 4b. So 7a minus 4b is your answer. Then c to the power of 12 divided by c to the power of 4. Whenever we're dividing similar bases, we subtract the powers. So that's going to be c to the power of 8. If you're multiplying similar bases, you add the powers. This is the basic rule of indices. Write down all the integer values of x that satisfy the inequality. So x is less than 1 but greater than equal to negative 3. Since negative 3 is included in the range, so it's going to be negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, and 0. We don't include 1 because it's less than 1, not less than equal to 1. Then we have a probability tree diagram. It says a bag contains 4 black tiles and 6 white tiles. A tile is chosen at random from the bag and is then replaced. A second tile is then chosen at random. Complete the tree diagram. So we have 4 black and 6 white. So total tiles are 10. So probability of getting a black tile is 4 out of 10. And probability of getting a white tile is 6 out of 10. Since the tile is being replaced after it's chosen, that means the total number of tiles is not changing. So the probability of getting a black will be the same, and so will be for white. If they were not replaced, then the probabilities would have changed for the second tile. And work out the probability that both tiles are white. So for both tiles being white, it's going to be 6 out of 10 times 6 out of 10. Which is going to give us 36 out of 100. If you want to simplify it, you can simplify it or even leave it as it is. It's going to be correct. Amira invests $480 in a savings account. The account pays simple interest at a rate of 3.6% per year. Calculate the value of the investment at the end of 5 years. Simple interest formula is principal amount times the rate of interest over 100 times the time period. So that's 480 times 3.6 over 100 times 5. This will give you the amount of interest she has earned in 5 years. So that's going to be $86.4. Now, final value of the investment is 480 plus the interest she has earned. That equals $566.4. That is your final answer. Then Ben invests $600 in a different savings account. The account pays compound interest at a rate of 2.7% per year. Calculate the total amount of interest paid to Ben at the end of 4 years. So now they're asking for the interest that Ben has paid at the end of 4 years. So compound interest has the formula of principal amount times 1 plus R over 100 to the power of time. So that's 600, which is what he invested, times 1 plus rate of interest is 2.7 and time period is 4. So that's going to give us $667.47. This is the final value of the amount at the end of 4 years. So for the interest, what you do is you subtract this and the amount that you invested initially. So that's going to be $67.47. That is the interest earned or paid at the end of 4 years. Then we have a question on functions. We have two functions, f of x equals to 3x minus 5 and g of x equals to 2 minus 6x. Find f of 2. So f of 2 is going to be 3 times 2 minus 5. You will simply replace x with the domain value, which is 2, and then solve the equation to find the value of the function, and that is 1 in this case. Then solve g of x equals to 18. So you put the function equal to 18, and then you solve it for x. So 2 minus 18 equals to 6x. Negative 16 divided by 6, and that's equal to negative 8 over 3. You can give it as a mixed number, decimal, or even as an improper fraction. Either way, it's going to be correct. Then find f of g of 4. So g of 4 is 2 minus 6 times 4. That's going to be 2 minus 24, which is negative 22. Now we find f of negative 22. The reason why I'm breaking it down is because g of 4 is the domain of f of x. So if I find the value of g of 4, that becomes the domain of f of x. So ultimately, we're trying to find f of negative 22. So that's going to give us 3 times negative 22 minus 5. That is negative 71. That is your value of f of g of 4. Then the domain of g of x is greater than negative 8. Find the range of g of x. So if x is greater than negative 8, g of x was given as 2 minus 6x. So if we substitute negative 8 over here, that gives us 2 minus 6 times negative 8, which is 2 plus 48, and that's 50. So if x is greater than negative 8, g of x is going to be less than 50. Why is it less than 50? Because if we draw a rough sketch of this linear function, the y-intercept is 2, and you can see that the slope is negative. If the slope is negative, that means this is what the graph is going to look like. And to find the x-intercept, we can put y equals to 0. So 0 equals to 2 minus 6x. 6x equals to 2, and x is going to be 1 over 3. So this is your y-intercept. Now we said that x is greater than negative 8. So if we say negative 8 is somewhere over here, this is where the values are increasing towards. They're greater than negative 8. So when we got x equals to, so when we got the range value as 50, 50 is going to be somewhere over here. So as you can see, as x is increasing, y is decreasing. We're going towards the negative axis. Hence, that is why when x is greater than negative 8, y is going to be less than 50. So that is your answer for this question. G of x is less than 50. If it was a positive slope, then as x was increasing, y would also increase. But since it's a negative slope, so as x increases, y will decrease. Then it says that we have a universal set with numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Set A shows that x is a prime number, and set B shows that x is a factor of 36. Complete the Venn diagram. So if it's a prime number, then 2, 3, 5, 7, and 11 come over here. If it's a factor of 36, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, and 12. Now in the middle, we will write the common elements. So as you can see, 2 is common, 3 is common, and that is it. Which means we will remove 2 and 3 from over here. Now the elements that did not come anywhere, they will come outside. So that's going to be 8 and 10. They didn't come anywhere. So this is a complete Venn diagram. Then it says list the elements of B. Then it says list the elements of A union B complement. So since we're talking about the elements that are in A but not in B, and it's a union, so that's going to be 5, 7, 11, 2, 3, 8, and 10. Yes, 2 and 3 are a part of B as well, but they're also in A. And since it's saying A union, so that means 2 and 3 will be included in the elements. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, and 11. If it was A intersection B complement, then you could have missed out the 2 and 3 and 8 and 10 as well. Then it would just be 5, 7, and 11. Then find the number of A intersection B complement. So for A intersection B complement, it would just be the elements that are in A, which was 3, 7, and 11. Like I said before, if it's intersection, we will not pick all of the elements. Like the common elements in A and B will not be chosen, and the ones that are outside will not be chosen. If it's union, then you would pick them. So A intersection B complement was 3, 7, and 11, but they want the number of elements, so there are 3 elements. Remember, if it says N, that means they want the number of elements. If it just says list the elements, then you will write these 3, 7, and 11. So you need to know the difference between the two things. Because if you don't write the correct thing, they won't give you a mark. Then we have sequences. These are the first 4 terms of a sequence, 16, 13, 10, and 7. Write on the next term of the sequence. So to go from 16 to 13, we subtracted 3. Then from 13 to 10 again, we subtracted 3. And then from 10 to 7, we again subtracted 3. Which means 7 minus 3 and 4 is the next term in the sequence. Final expression for the nth term of the sequence. For the nth term, we will subtract the common difference, which is -3, with n. Now let's say the nth term is -3n. So if we find the first term using this, that's going to be -3, whereas we have 16 over here. So what can we do to turn -3 into 16? We can add 19 to it. So when we add 19 to it, that gives us 16. So let's use this to check if we get the other terms or not. So second term would be -3 times 2 plus 19, which is 13. Third term would be -3 times 3 plus 19, which is 10. So as you can see, we're getting the exact same terms as given the sequence, which means the nth term is -3n plus 19. If you've learned a different method, please go for that. And I would like you to share it in the comments as well, because if some other kid finds that easier, it's good that they're learning from you. So do share in the comment below if you find the nth term using a different technique. Then we have standard form. Write 1.3 times 10 to the power of -4 as an ordinary number. So if the power is negative, that means you will move the decimal 4 places to the left-hand side. The 4 places because it's -4. If it was +4, we would move 4 places to the right side. So 0.000123 is the ordinary number. The ordinary number form is the form in which there is no times 10 to the power of something. That's the ordinary form. When it's times 10 to the power of something, that's standard form. Then we have 8.2 times 10 to the power 4 plus x times 10 to the power y equals to 9.1 times 10 to the power of 5. Find the value of x and y. So what we can do is we can rewrite 8.2 times 10 to the power 4 as 82,000. Let's write it as an ordinary number. And on the right-hand side, we can also write this as an ordinary number, which is going to be 910,000. So now when we bring 82,000 to the other side, it's going to be 910,000 minus 82,000. That's going to give us 828,000. So if we rewrite 828,000 in standard form, that's going to be 8.28 times 10 to the power of 5. So that means x is 8.28 and y is 5. That's your answer. Then algebra again, we have to factorize 5x squared plus 15xy. So you can take 5x common because that is the greatest common factor between the terms. So x plus 3y remains in the bracket. We cannot further factorize this. Then when we have 4 terms and they want us to factorize it, You can split the equation into two groups. This is the first group and this is your second group. In the first group, we have 2x common. So 2x bracket a plus 2b in the bracket. Then the next group, we have negative 3y common. So again, a plus 2b is in the bracket. Now between 2x and negative 3y, we have a plus 2b common. So a plus 2b times 2x minus 3y is your fully factorized answer. Then we have to find the three inequalities that define the unshaded region R. First, let's look at the horizontal dotted line. This is passing through y equals to 2. Let's write the equation first, then I'll move on to the inequality. Then for this line, it's passing through the origin, and then it's passing through 2, 4. So let's create the equation. Slope is going to be 2 minus 0 over 4 minus 0, which is 1 over 2. And y-intercept is 0 because it's passing through the y-axis at 0. So y equals to 1 over 2x is your equation for this line. Let's write that. Y equals to 1 over 2x. And for the other one, we can pick 2 points again. We can pick this point and we can pick this point. So that's going to be negative 1 minus 2 over 3 minus 0. That's negative 3 over 3, which is negative 1. Y-intercept is 2 because the line is passing the y-axis at y equals 2. So y equals to negative x plus 2. This is your third equation. Once you've identified the equations, next step is to identify the inequalities for those equations. So you look at the line at y equals to 2. So the question says that the three inequalities that define the unshaded region. So that's this region R. So when you look at the line y equals to 2, we have shaded the part above the line. So that means the inequality for this shaded part, which means inequality for the defined region would be y is less than 2. Why less than 2? Because the shaded part is greater than 2. So for the unshaded part, the values of y are decreasing, which means it's less than 2. Then for y equals to 1 over 2x, we have shaded the part underneath it. So if we shade a part underneath it, underneath the line, the values of y are decreasing, which means for the unshaded part, the values of y are going to increase. And the inequality is going to be y is greater than equal to 1 over 2x because the line is a solid straight line. When it's a dotted line, it's not like, greater than equal to or less than equal to. It's just less than or greater than depending on the shaded part. But if it's a solid straight line, then we write the equal to sign as well. Then thirdly, for y equals to negative x plus 2, your shaded area is underneath the line, which means once again, the unshaded part is greater than equal to negative x plus 2. So these are your three inequalities. Remember to look at the question very carefully and see what they're asking about, like whether they're asking us for the inequality for the unshaded part or the shaded part. So based on that, you will create your inequalities using the diagram. Then the table gives information about the ages of 80 members of a gym. They have given us the intervals for the age and they've given us the corresponding frequency. We have to calculate an estimate for the mean age. So for the mean age, we need the midpoint first of the intervals. So between 16 and 18, we have 17. Between 18 and 24, we have 21. Between 24 and 40, we have 32. And between 40 and 100, we have 70. So these are your midpoints. So for the mean value, what you do is you multiply your midpoint to the frequency and then add it to the next one. So 17 times 5 plus 21 times 31 plus 32 times 19 plus 70 times 25. And this will be divided by the total frequency, which is 80. That's already identified the question. If you want to recheck, you can add all of the frequency values. So add them. So that gives us 3094, and then we divide it by 80. That's 38.675. That is your estimate of the mean age. And work out the percentage of the members of the gym who are more than 24 years old. More than 24 years old are these ones. So 19 plus 25 over 80 times 100. That's going to give us 55. So 55% of the people are more than 24 years old. Then we have a circle theorem question. It says points B, D, E, and F lie on a circle. AC is a tangent in the circle at B. Angle BEF is 50 degrees and EF equals to BF. So that has been identified in the diagram. I have to find the value of X. X is going to be 50. Why 50? Because the three vertices of your triangle EFB are touching the circumference. When they're touching the circumference, that means it falls for the alternate segment theorem. Based on the alternate segment theorem, this angle is equal to this angle. This angle is equal to this angle. And this is your common angle between the line and the triangle. So your reason is going to be alternate segment theorem. Remember, when there's a triangle inscribed inside a circle and all three vertices are touching the circumference, you can use the alternate segment theorem to figure out the missing angles of the triangle. Find the value of y, give a geometrical reason for each step of your breaking. So we know this is 50, and this is an isosceles, this is also 50, and this is going to be 80. So that's 80 over here. So for the steps, angle EBF is 50 degrees. There's isosceles, triangle. Then EFB is 80 degrees. Sum of angles in a triangle equals 180 degrees. Then y would be 180 minus 80, which is 100, because opposite angles add up to 100 degrees in a cyclic quadrilateral. That is your complete answer for part B, where we're trying to find the value of y. When the diagram shows a cuboid, the length of the cuboid is x, the height of the cuboid is 3 times its length, so that's 3x. The width of the cuboid is 4 centimeters less than its length, so that's going to be x minus 4. Write down expression for the height of the cuboid and the width of the cuboid. So 3x and x minus 4. That's your answer. The surface area of the cuboid is 200 centimeters square. Form an equation in x so that it simplifies to 7x squared minus 16x minus 100 equals to 0. So length was x, height was 3x, and width was x minus 4. Surface area is the area of all of the faces being added together. That's how you find the surface area of a 3D shape. So 2 times x times 3x, because there are two faces with the dimension x times 3x. Then 2 times x minus 4 plus 2 times 3x times x minus 4. 6 faces in total for the cuboid and 2 identical for each of these. So that's going to be 6x squared plus 2x squared minus 8x plus 6x squared minus 24x. Collect the like terms. 14x squared minus 32x. So the surface area equals to 200 as given in the question. So collect all the terms on one side. 14x squared minus 32x minus 200. All of them can be divided by 2. So that gives us 7x squared minus 16x minus 100 equals to 0 as given in the question as well. And the next part, they're probably going to ask us to solve it. Yep. So it says you must show all your work and give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. That means we'll use the quadratic formula. Whenever they're asking us to solve a quadratic equation and the answer would be given correct with some significant figures or decimal places, you always use the quadratic formula then. You don't use the splitting the middle term. So A is 7, B is negative 16, and C is negative 100. A is the coefficient of x squared, B is the coefficient of x, and C is the constant. So x equals to negative 16 plus minus root of negative 16 squared minus 4 times 7 times negative 100 over 2 times 7. That's going to be 16 plus minus 3056 over 14, which becomes 16 plus minus 55.28 over 14. So one value of x is going to be 16 plus 55.28 over 14, which gives us 5.09. And the other is going to be 16 minus 55.28 over 14, which gives us negative 2.81. So these are your two values of x correct to 2 decimal places. Negative 2.81 and 5.09. We have to find the height of the cuboid. So obviously x cannot be a negative value, so we'll use x equals to 5.09. Height of the cuboid will be 3x, so 3 times 5.09, which gives us 15.27 centimeters. That's the height. The diagram shows triangle ABC and triangle ABD. AB is 12 centimeters, BD is 7 centimeters, and AD is 6 centimeters. Angle DAC is given as 32 degrees, and angle BC is 48 degrees. We have to calculate the angle BAD. So let's highlight this triangle first. If you notice in this triangle, all 3 lengths are given, and they're asking us to find this angle. So remember, whenever all 3 lengths are given in a non-right angle triangle, we can use the cosine rule to figure out the missing angles. So if you want to find angle A, that's going to be 6 squared plus 12 squared minus 7 squared over 2 times 12 times 6 equals to cos of A. That gives us 0.90972. Find the inverse of this value, and that leaves us with a value of 24.53 degrees. That is your angle DAD. Then calculate the length of AC. This is AC. So we know this is 24.53. We have the complete angle now for A. So BAC is going to be 24.53 plus 32, which equals 56.53 degrees. So angle ABC would be 180 minus 56.53 minus 48. That gives us 75.47 degrees. So this entire angle is 75.47 degrees. We already have the length of BA. We need to find the length of AC. So when we have one complete pair of angle and length, we can use the sine rule to figure out the missing information. So as we've already found the angle B, so we need to find the length opposite to angle B, which is AC. So it's going to be AC over sine of 75.47 equals to 12 over sine 48. So AC is 12 times sine 75.47 over sine 48, and that gives us 15.63 centimeters. That is your length AC. Then it says solve 3x over x minus 1 plus 4 over x plus 2 equals to 3. So we have this algebraic fraction and we need to find the value of x. So as you know, whenever we're adding or subtracting fractions with unlike denominators, the first step is to make the denominator same. So you multiply the first fraction by x plus 2 and the second fraction by x minus 1. So that's 3x times x plus 2 over x plus 2 times x minus 1 plus 4 times x minus 1 over x plus 2 times x minus 1 equals to 3. So 3x squared plus 6x over x plus 2 times x minus 1 plus 4x minus 4. You can combine it as a single fraction with the same denominator. So x plus 2 times x minus 1 and 3x squared plus 6x plus 4x minus 4 in the numerator. Cross multiply and collect the like terms on the left hand side. So 3x squared plus 10x minus 4 equals to 3 times x plus 2 times x minus 1. Expand the bracket. So that's 3 times x squared minus x plus 2x minus 2, which is going to give us 3 times x squared plus x minus 2. So 3x squared plus 10x minus 4 equals to 3x squared plus 3x minus 6. So if you collect the x's on one side, 3x squared minus 3x squared plus 10x minus 3x equals to negative 6 plus 4. That's 7x equals to negative 2, and x is going to be negative 2 over 7. That is your value of x. So remember, if we're adding or subtracting fractions with unlike denominators, make the denominators equal first, then solve the fraction. In most cases, they ask you to just simplify it and write it as a single fraction. In cases like this, they will ask you to solve it because they will put the sum equal to something else, like a fraction or a number, anything. Then the width of a rectangle is 5.4 centimeters, correct with an area 0.1 centimeters. Write down the upper bound of the width of the rectangle. So whatever it's nearest to, you divide that by 2. That's going to give us 0.05 in this case. For the upper bound, you will add 5.4 to 0.05, which is going to be 5.45. That's your upper bound. Then the perimeter of the same rectangle is 26.4 centimeters, correct to the nearest 0.1 centimeters. We have to calculate the lower bound of the length of the rectangle. So perimeter is 2 times length plus 2 times the width. Since we're trying to find the length, that's going to be perimeter minus 2 times width divided by 2. So as you can see, we're finding the difference for the length. So what we will do is, we need to find the lower bound of the perimeter and the upper bound of the width, so that we can find the lower bound of the length. in difference, when we're finding the lower bound, it would be lower bound minus the upper bound. And if we're trying to find the upper bound in difference, it would be upper bound minus lower bound. If you're someone who gets confused about this, I'm going to attach a link above because I've already made a video where I use different questions to explain how to find upper bound and lower bound using exam questions. I've made several shorts as well, which you can access in my short section. And if you still have any confusions about this, leave a comment below and I'll explain it again. So now for the lower bound of the perimeter. Perimeter is 26.4 correct to the nearest 0.1 centimeters. Again, divide 0.1 by 2, which is 0.05. So your lower bound would be 26.4 minus 0.05. Just going to give us 26.35 centimeters. So 26.35 minus 2 times 5.45. We already have the upper bound of the width. Divide the result by 2. And that is going to give us 7.725 centimeters. That's the lower bound of the length. The diagram shows a pyramid ABCV. The base of the pyramid is an equilateral triangle ABC with sides of length 34 centimeters. The height BO is perpendicular to the base of the pyramid. VA is equal to VB and is equal to VC, which is 82 centimeters. So all of these lengths are 82. We have to write down the number of planes of symmetry of the pyramid. So the number of planes of symmetry, that's going to be 3, because as you can see, the 3 faces are identical. So we have 3 planes of symmetry for this pyramid. Then M is the midpoint of AC. The ratio of MO to OB is 1:2. We have to show that OB equals to 19.6 centimeters. So this is 1:2, which means MB is 3 parts in total. We have this as 82, so all of these are 82. The base is an equilateral triangle, so this is 34, this is also 34, which means AM is going to be 34 divided by 2, which is 17. So 17, 17, this is a right angle. We have to show that the length of OB is as given in the question. So we have to basically find the length of OB over here. So as you can see, this is right angle triangle. If I draw this triangle over here, the one that we're focusing on, this is B over here, this is M, we have O over here, and this is C. MC is 17, BC is 34. So using Pythagoras, we can easily find BM, then use that to figure out OB. So BM is equal to root of 34 squared minus 17 squared. That gives us 9.44. So OB is 2/3 of BM. Why 2/3? Because it's divided in 1:1 ratio. So OB would be 2/3 of BM. So 2/3 of 29.44, and that gives us 19.6 centimeters as given the question. So very simple, nothing complicated. Like you just have to look at the shape very closely and identify any right angles that are present in the shape. Then we have to calculate the angle between the edge BB and the base of the pyramid. So basically, this one. So we already know OB, that's 19.6. So we have this. This is a right angle triangle. As you can see, this is perpendicular to the base. We have the adjacent, we have the hypotenuse. So using cosine, we can figure out the angle. Cos of B equals to 19.6 divided by 82. So cos inverse of 19.6 over 82. And that's going to give us 76.17 degrees. That is angle B. Then calculate the volume of the pyramid. So for the volume of the pyramid, you need the height of the pyramid and you need the base area. So over here, one over 3 times base area times the height. So using the same right angle triangle, first we'll figure out the height. So we know this was 19.6. This is O, this is B, this is 82, this is B. So now we need VO, which is the height of the pyramid. So we can use Pythagoras. So x equals to root of 82 squared minus 19.6 squared. That gives us root of 6,339.84. That equals to 79.62 centimeters. That's the height of the pyramid. Now we need the base area. So we know AC is 34 and we had BM, which was 29.44 centimeters. So base area is going to be 1 over 2 times the height, which is BM, times the base, which is AC. Just find the area of the triangle, which is the base area. So 1 over 2 times 29.44 times 34, which gives us 500.48 centimeters squared. Volume is going to be 1 over 3 times the base area, which is 500.48, times the height of the pyramid, which is 79.62. And that's going to give us 13,282.7 centimeter cube. That is the volume of the given pyramid. Then it says a box contains 13 pencils. There are 4 red pencils, 7 green pencils, 2 yellow pencils in the box. 2 pencils are chosen at random from the box without replacement. Work out the probability that the 2 pencils are different colors. So we can either have red, green, or green, red, or red, yellow, or yellow, red, or green, yellow, or yellow, green. This way we're having different colors each time. So for red, the probability is 4 out of 13. Then if you're taking a green, that's going to be 7 out of 12. Why 7 out of 12? Because it's without replacement. So if I'm taking a red pencil, there's 1 less pencil in the box. So now it's going to be 12 pencils now. So green, 7 out of 13 times 4 out of 12. Then red again, 4 out of 13. Yellow would be 2 out of 12, or 2 out of 13 times 4 out of 12, or 7 out of 13 times 2 out of 12, or 2 out of 13 times 7 out of 12. So that's 28 out of 13 times 12 is 156. Plus again 28 out of 156. Then 8 out of 156. Again 8 out of 156. Then 14 out of 156. Again 14 out of 156. Add it up. Denominator remains the same. Numerator is going to be 28 plus 28 plus 8 plus 8 plus 14 plus 14. That's 100. 100 over 156 is the probability. If you want to simplify it, you can, or you can leave it as it is. Either way, your answer will be correct. Remember that if you're taking red and green pencil, you can take red first and then green, or green first and then red. So there are 2 possibilities of getting that color. Same goes for red and yellow and green and yellow. So that's why I wrote them twice, but like in different order, like red first, then green, or green first, then red. And since it's without replacement, so that means once you've taken out a pencil, there's 1 less pencil in the box. Because of that, the total number of pencils change when you're taking out the second pencil each time. Then once you've done that, you add up the probabilities and that gives you 100 over 156. And with that, we're done with the questions for this paper. If you have any questions or confusions, please leave a comment below and I'll help you out. And if you understood everything, please like and subscribe, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to check out the other playlists on my channel.